huge away following over 2,000 seguidores because Malaga Club de Football, we all adores you. And win, lose or draw, like we'll always roar for you. But right now, let's not discuss drawing or losing, as for the fourth time in a row, Malaga dished out a bruising. And into the top three, we went cruising with, once again, it's another goal for Roberto. His football's on 2 now, like a violin concerto. So beware defences, because he's going to hurt you. Going all Godfather badass on you, like Marlon Brando. So you better watch out, those guys from San Fernando, because they're the next Andalus team to come land here. Holy cow, they've got Jonathan Bibiani. But don't worry, because Dioni's eaten his pork butter sarnie. So there's more goals for him to cheer on with the Giri army. Let's hope this run can last, and no players we need to lambast. But let's find out our thoughts on this week's Giri Cast. Good day, everyone. I am Matt Harrison, and you are indeed listening to the Giri Cast on Sport Direct Radio, the Malaga fan podcast for all the Giris out there. I will go to you first, Luke Chambers. How are you, Luke?
I'm very well, mate. Very well. Still very happy after 3 points at the weekend. Just got over COVID, and I'm raring to go tonight.
And that seems a good segue into Nick Bell. How are you, Nick?
I'm good. I always feel the urge to go bow after the end of your rap, if I'm honest with you, but I have to contain myself. And I also want to maybe start setting you the challenge of putting in really intricate words, because you seem to be getting more intricate every single week. So I
just feel like I can't say Jonathan Bibiani, though. That sort of stumbled.
To be honest, I thought you were tripping over it, but then I also thought maybe you're beatboxing halfway through.
Sorry,
Bibiani.
Yeah.
But yeah, not too bad. COVID's in the house at the minute, we believe. So I'm kind of just waiting for it to hit me. I do feel a little bit run down, but I might just be tired as well. So,
bit like at the start of a rap song, COVID in the house.
Yes. It used to be something different, but not anymore.
Okay, and then speaking of in the house, Chris Marquez in the house. Chris, how are you?
Yeah. Sup, my boys?
Oh, this could be problematic. Are you good, Chris?
Sup, my boys?
Okay.
He's had a sunny day. You can tell he's been to the beach.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on very quickly, just in case this.
Why? No. Why?
Okay. I don't know. Just the voice you're doing. I'm wondering if it's going to go in a direction which could be offensive at some point. So.
No, we're not going in an offensive way.
Okay, good.
Not today.
Right. Okay.
Maybe tomorrow. No, I don't know.
Speaking of things which are inoffensive, Chris, tell me about the Football Contents Awards.
I'm always the one having to talk about the Football Content Awards? Nick,
okay, I can switch over if you want.
Nick, I'll leave it to you.
Okay, Nick, tell me about the Football Content Awards.
Oh, well, if you've not heard or received 16 private messages from Chris Marquez alerting you to the fact we've been nominated for a Football Content Award. 3rd year in a row for the Giri Cast. We've been nominated for Best International Club Content Creators, which is a bit of a mouthful, but a very worthy category. We're going up against...
Is that for people who create content about international football club?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, clubs abroad is the way I'd say it. And, technically Scotland could be classed as abroad from England, but we're in there amongst some big hitters, Celtic State of Mind, Madrista King, the Aki Cast or whatever it was called. About how I really hope if we don't win, I really hope the Hamilton Academical Podcast.
Yeah, I actually agree.
Yeah, the same. Yeah.
So I think like about 10 years ago they were really good, weren't they? Or maybe just over 10 years ago. I remember Swansea used to poach a load of players off them actually, which was they were quite nice.
Like they had. I'm pretty sure they had once upon a time like Derek Reardon playing for them, James McCarthy and McCarthy as well.
Yeah,
So what we're saying, if you really like this part of the Giri Cast talking about Hamilton academics, go and vote for the Aki Cast.
Well, we're kindred spirits maybe because they're also now in the 3rd tier, I believe, because I think they were at a double relegation. So if you're after 3rd tier football, whether it's Spain or Scotland, then this group, the Football Content Awards, has got you covered. But it's really exciting. The voting's underway now, so you can vote on their website or you can vote on Instagram by tagging us on Instagram if you can, please. Every vote counts and is appreciated. We're going to Anfield as well, so it's going to be quite cool to be in such
Never been there.
an iconic football stadium, depending on your preference, I suppose. But it should be a good night. And if we don't win, Chris is going to flip some tables.
Yeah, that's and I believe you're
That's
going
fun as well.
What? Pardon, Chris?
That's fun as well.
That is fun as well.
I'm
But
part of the cleaning team.
right, Chris, I give you the opportunity to speak, and you said you'd had enough of me speaking to you. So I'm asking Luke. I believe Luke is going. You're going to Liverpool, yes?
Yeah, I've managed to sort my shift. Be a great experience, and hopefully the team can come away happy. And no, we're single football content guy winning something, Chris.
Yes.
Sorry?
Chris, do you want to add anything before we move on? Or are you happy?
Sure. No, it's great to be in this, to be nominated again. Thank you all for voting. If you haven't voted yet, vote. And I wish all the other content creators in our category all the best. And I hope you don't win. And if you do win, I will be the first one to congratulate you, because at the end of the day, we're all making content and creating content, and it's not about winning. If you are a Malaga podcast, it's about participating.
I'm staying up.
Surviving.
Surviving.
No,
And it's already a big thing that we are nominated, so we are very thankful for it. Thank Anthony Cooper for hosting the because I think it's important for content creators to get the recognition they deserve.
He's so much more politically correct on this podcast than he is in our group chat, isn't he? It's quite a Jekyll and Hyde from Mr. Marquez.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, me. But yes, I will be stuck here working in Spain. But if you see the guys at Anfield, go say hello. I'm sure we'll talk about it again before the big event. Speaking of content, just something quickly. We might have something new coming out this weekend. I'm hoping it's out by the weekend. We'll try our best. I guess I should talk here because I've put it together. I usually go, tell me about this, but I suppose I'm the person to talk about this. We're putting together a Malaga newsletter, which we've entitled Malaga Gaga, which for those that don't know, was almost the name of the Giri cast many years ago. It was thrown out there as a silly name, but I actually quite liked it. But it's going to be a sort of light-hearted look at the past month with Malaga, things on and off the pitch. I won't spoil too much of it, but especially you guys that follow the podcast and listen regularly, I think it's your jam. I think you'll go along with it. We're going to try and get it out by the weekend. Don't hold me to that. It's sort of written. We just need to fix it up. And by we, I mean Nick needs to sort out my words and make it look presentable.
Yes,
I did read it already.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it.
Oh, good.
And you wrote many articles,
Mm-hmm.
None for the Gearycast, but for every other content creator in the world, you wrote something, except for us. But now you wrote something for us. And your style of writing is lovely because you get dragged into it. You feel like you're a part of it. And finally, we have Malaga.
Yeah, I suppose we've always talked about doing a website, but that's a lot of maintenance and a lot of work. And if you don't see it, put something on every week, gets a bit messy and gets a bit outdated. So I thought it was a good antidote to that for a monthly newsletter. We'll keep it monthly for now. We'll see maybe, but I definitely couldn't do weekly. And yeah, we'll see how it goes, and give us feedback on it when it's out there. And
And finally, something called Malaga, because when we started the podcast, you and me, we were debating on the name.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt was very much into Radio Malaga, which I found silly at the time.
What would the theme song have been? Quite interesting.
Radio Malaga. It's
been a Lady Gaga song, I think.
Yeah. So when Matt came with the idea of the newsletter, there was no other choice than giving him finally Malaga.
I think I did sort of say no. Let's make it quite streamlined and sexy sounding, like Giri Cast. But yes, I did like that name. Was always in the back.
If I could change it, I would change Giricost as well at this moment.
Yeah, I think I probably would as well. I'm not sure to what, but let's stick with the brand now. It's out there. Tell you what has changed: a football fixture and its kickoff time, and not even kickoff time, the day of it. I think we mentioned this last week on the podcast that it was likely to happen that Gerard Piqué's Kings League was going to be hosting the final at La Rosaleda on Sunday, the 15th of October, I think, or whatever the Sunday is. And that meant Malaga's game against Melilla was going to be moved. That has been confirmed now. Malaga will play Melilla at midday on a Thursday, which might sound unusual to people, and I still think it is unusual. But it is a holiday here in Spain. I think it's National Spain Day. I think, isn't it, Chris? If I remember rightly, on that day. Yeah, I think so. But it's most of Spain, I think all of Spain has the Friday off too, so it's a very long weekend. But Nick, there's a little bit of, well, there's quite a lot of controversy around it because obviously we've spoken on here about our, people are listening to the podcast. They're coming from the UK, having their sort of plans mixed up with like hotels and flights and things like that. But our opposition aren't very happy either.
No, they're really not. I think the director at Melilla has sort of been in communication with everybody, but nobody's been picking up the phone to him. I think Piqué himself sort of released this news, a week and a half ago, maybe a fortnight ago. Yet there was only confirmation 2 days ago about this fixture being changed to a Thursday. And because Melilla is obviously not on the mainland, it's in a Spanish enclave in North Africa, people have got to make plans and make logistical trips and book hotels and things like that way in advance. And I think they're saying that really flying over in the middle of the week isn't as common or as easy to do as fly over in the weekend. So he's saying we might not even be able to get there yet. Like these decisions have been made without our consultation, but we don't actually know if we can get a team there. There was talk about going on a boat, but it's an overnight ferry. And to be honest, if you've been on an overnight ferry, would you fancy running around for 90 minutes on a football pitch in midday heat? That's the other thing I take exception to. So it's a big bloody mess. It really is. And, I had not an altercation, but a discussion on Twitter this morning with another Malaga fan saying that, surely a fixture swap, we'll come and play you on the Saturday at your place, and in February, you can come back to us when the Kings League is all wrapped up and done. And surely that had been the most simplest solution, but apparently it wasn't even an option, according to the Melilla director.
Yeah, Luke, I asked the lads last week, are you across the Kings League at all? Are you a fan?
No, I've seen adverts, but I can't say I know much about it other than what you guys have told me. It's a bit of a carnival. But the whole thing's a strange one. I suppose the main issue is that Malaga don't actually own La Rosaleda. And I think if Malaga did own La Rosaleda, then the Malaga be number one in terms of what happens. But Piqué's got a lot of money, and a lot of money talks.
Yeah, Chris, I think your phone's ringing or something. I can hear.
Is that what?
That's Piqué's money coming in.
I did realize that.
It's ridiculous. I don't have any words for it. It is a national holiday in Spain. A lot of school people are off. A lot of teachers are off. Matt knows everything about it. I have to work. Yeah, a lot of people have to work. Because some shops are open.
Yeah,
it's Monday till Friday. There's still tourism. It doesn't make really sense to me. No. Supermarkets are open.
No, especially midday as well. Like if you said before that some people get the Friday off as well, then put it on in the evening.
Yeah,
A, it's cooler, and B, more people can actually get to it. I don't understand. There's obviously a big thing in Spain about playing football quite late, to the extent that some football finals start at 10 o'clock at night. Yet they've gone, right, let's rearrange this fixture, lads. What time should we start it at? Midday? Yeah, so we can all be in pub for no worries, midday sounds good. It's
ridiculous.
Bonkers. It's ridiculous.
Am I right in saying as well, I think it's on the Thursday, that Scotland are in Seville playing Spain that same day, or was it the day
Yeah,
after?
I think so.
That's because I think some of the Geary Army might be doing both, which would be quite an interesting day. I think. I'm sure.
Trip.
Yeah, so finishing.
No, but it's ridiculous. It's madness, and it shows one more time that football is all about money, and money is all that counts.
I think it's fair to say as well that Nick, we can probably confirm that the GearyCast headquarters will be closed that day for a live stream due to work at that stupid time.
Yeah, there won't be a live stream, and just to confirm as well, the Scotland-Spain game is on the 12th as well, a 8:45 kickoff.
I think the Geary Army.
Talking about live streams, can we put the reason on why Alex Ashmore didn't make it to the last live stream?
Poor Alex.
Yeah, you should put the picture on.
Yeah,
it's a great story.
I don't really know the full story apart from that I can just give the headline. He fell off his bike.
Yeah.
And he did have a nasty old...
It did look painful.
It did. He had a nasty
old... painful. But we have a picture. Can we put it up here?
I haven't got it to hand. We can maybe
it's not the best for the audio format. Maybe let's put it on our Twitter or something, and people can...
I think that's worse, Matt.
Yeah, I think to be fair to Alex, if we're really going to embellish this story, he fell off his bike whilst leaping to save a runaway pram down a hill and heroically saved the baby. So he's actually
and he tried because he was in a hurry after work to get to the live stream.
He's a hero.
Exactly.
He's a hero.
He's a hero. And there was a fire at the bottom of the hill, and snakes. He's actually really heroic. So let's not give him too much grief for missing the live stream.
The hero we all need. Just last thing on the sort of fixture changes, or lack of, I guess, in this case, because we did say last week that there was a chance that the game against Castilla at home might be, a fixture swap, and we go to Madrid instead. But that does not appear to be the case, and that seems to have been confirmed that we will be playing Castilla at La Rosaleda the weekend after. Again,
I wouldn't rule it out yet.
Yeah, I was going to say that's confirmed as much as a Spanish football game can ever be confirmed. So,
it's ridiculous.
Don't book your flights yet, and apologies to those who have already booked their flights, because I know some people have. Just a couple of other things I'd throw out there. Tell you what, I'll go to this next because it's to do with fans getting messed about. I don't know, Chris, if we've got full confirmation on this, but I said through sources that it seems that the club are only going to let season ticket holders buy away tickets, or I don't know if that's the club or the federation, or...
I talked to the club and they say that this has been for years. I know what you're going to say, Matt.
No, but I thought I would just say it for the purpose of our listeners, that my response to that, and I know you're just reporting what the club is saying, but every single away game I've gone to, they usually ask your full name, your NIE number, or if you're a foreigner, your passport number. And they sometimes ask, how are you getting there? So I've always said, well, I'm going my own way. I'm going on a train or a plane. And they go, cool, that's it. They have never...
But on the other hand, Matt, you are a season ticket holder.
Yeah, but they've never, ever asked for my socio number or season ticket number.
No, because they can look that up.
Maybe.
With your NIE number.
But then I know, for example, people that have, people I've helped sort away tickets out that don't have season tickets, and I've said, this is what you do, and there's not been an issue. So I don't know if then they've asked for another number. I don't know, but I know
maybe because the away tickets, the away games are getting so...
Yes, I think that is part of it.
We're getting so busy and so much people want to go to away tickets that they will say that they're now saying, well...
Which, to be honest with you, I think is sort of okay then in a way, because it is been just a bit all over the place over the last few years. Like every time you get an away ticket, it's like you have to go a different route each time to like, so what do I do this time to get a ticket? Where they do need a system in place. And I do think it's, you know, for example, like say I'm going to Ibiza next month and I've been to 3 away games and then someone just gets a ticket. I'd be a bit, oh, well, that's a bit unfair. But I think there should be like a, you know, a sort of, you know, trickle down of, right, it's on sale to season ticket holders first. Right now, if, you know, general sale or whatever. And I've not heard anything about a general sale. So
what's the club's reasons, Chris? Do you know all for this? Or just simply that what we're speculating?
The knee numbers and the passport numbers is for safety and for police.
That's also just for people that perhaps have forgotten or just don't know. For home tickets, you have to give your
you do, passport number, yeah.
And that's pure safety and for the police. I think it's fair when people who buy €200 for a season ticket can get earlier access or can have more access to away games than people who don't buy the season tickets for €200. And I understand, and it's not to offend the away to the foreign fans, because it's impossible for people like Nick, for people like Luke, for a lot of others to get a season ticket, because if you're buying a season ticket for two or three matches, it's ridiculous. But for Spanish people, if you don't have a season ticket, you know.
How would it fall though, Chris? Say, for example, you're a Malaga fan, you're from Malaga, but you've recently you've moved to Murcia, for example. You're not a season ticket holder anymore because you can't get to Malaga every week. Malaga are playing in Murcia. Is that fair that Malaga fan can't get a ticket because he's not a season ticket?
I think what does come into there is the Fiels, isn't it? Is that, if that's right? The supporters club.
I was going to say that, like, for example, the best example of that I would say is the
you should have left Malaga then.
In Barcelona. The 300 in Barcelona, like I can imagine some of them might have season tickets just because they always get season tickets, but I bet not all of them do. And I think that's right. I think the Peña sort of almost substitutes as like a season ticket because you have to pay to join a Peña most of them anyway.
And it's not unknown. Like, for example, there was a story today about the Blackpool Fleetwood game is in, I think, next week or the week after, and there's limited tickets to that away. And so, over here they'll say, and I'm sure you guys both know, oh well, we put them on a tiering system. If you've been to all the away games so far, then your first refusal, and then open up to this.
That's how it works at Feyenoord. But listen to this, Luke. For example, Matt has been to 12 away matches in a season, and he has been to every home game the whole season, and he also wants to go to Ibiza, for example. But a lot of people are going to Ibiza. Matt can't get a ticket, but someone who didn't go the whole season without a seat because he didn't have a season ticket and he didn't feel like it, got a ticket for the away match against Ibiza. Would that be fair?
No.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think there needs to be a system.
Go on, Matt, sorry.
No, I was going to say, and like I've known perhaps Luke and Nick will have seen the same back home, and I think our British listeners in Scotland, England, and Wales, that's how it works back home. Like if as a Swansea City fan, obviously I don't have a Swansea season ticket anymore. If I went back home and I said like I might be going back at Christmas, and Swansea are away to Southampton when I'm there. If I don't know for some reason loads of Swansea fans want to go to Southampton at Christmas time and I can't get a ticket, I would just go. Fair enough. That's on me.
Yeah. I mean, I can't disagree with what Malaga have done at all, because I mean, like Matt's just said, and Nick will know himself, to get an away ticket in England is virtually impossible. It's done, like Nick said, tiers, points.
I don't think it's
maybe
it depends who Blackpool. If you're a Tottenham fan, maybe. If you're a Blackpool fan, not too bad.
Maybe.
They haven't
if they're doing it if Malaga are doing it for the right reason, kind of thing, i.e., looking after the season ticket holders, then yeah, it's fair enough. You can't argue with that.
You know what Feyenoord does, and has always done? They have a whole system about it. You get a silver card, or you buy a silver card on top of your season ticket. If you want to go to an away game, you have to be a silver card member.
Yeah, lots to do that.
Yeah.
If you go to, let's say, all the home matches and half of the away matches, you get a diamond card the season, a gold card the season after. If you go every match, home and away, you become a diamond card member. But you cannot miss a match, not one.
Well, that's it. I think it just perhaps needs to be a
European,
system.
everything. And with that system, the diamond card holders have the first option to buy a ticket. Then the gold card holders get their option. Then the silver card. And if then something is left, it's the season ticket holders.
Yeah, something like that needs to be in place. Like I said, we could perhaps go on about this for ages. Just quickly, because we've talked about this a lot, was going to just give a quick shout out to Atletico Malagueño, who won 3-1 at La Rosaleda on the weekend. And if you've not seen it yet, go and check out young Cordero's free kick in that game. It is a delight. So good to see Atletico Malagueño getting a win at La Rosaleda while we were away. But we were away. We were in Linares. There was quite a lot of us there. So let's go and talk about what went down in Linares Sunday evening. So, yeah, let's go to that Linares game. Let's obviously just start with the fans. I don't think there's much else we can say about this. I'm sure anyone listening would have seen the photos and scenes of what was going on in Linares. So 2,500, I think, was, or roughly around there, travel to Linares. I did a Vamos a Estadio Municipal de Linares episode, which essentially was me for 25 minutes going, look at all the fans, look at all the fans. That's literally what it was. It's probably the least interesting one I've ever done. I'm just like, there's more Malaga fans over there. And look, there's more Malaga fans over there. It was just that for 25 minutes, really. But yeah, it was strange. They were literally everywhere. I don't know if you guys want to add anything about the fans. Is there anything else to say? Then there was lots.
It's just unbelievable to see. Really is. I saw a lot on Twitter, Matt. You'll know better that it felt like Malaga was actually taking over the town of Linares.
Yeah, it was. There was especially like the centre of Linares was basically like a long sort of street, like a sort of walkway, and like there was just Malaga fans coming from every direction. You go down a little side street, there'd be like songs going on, like the gangs of people singing, and like you turn around the corner, you see them with a different Pena flag singing other songs, and then you'd walk up the street and you could just hear songs everywhere. And yeah, it was crazy. And there was, Linares had half the stadium really, and you sort of didn't really notice their fans all day. Probably helped they wore blue as well, so they sort of blended in. But
I've heard them singing, the Linares fans, though.
Yeah, they were good. I like, obviously it was hard for me because I was in the away end, so I could just hear our fans, but there was like a couple of moments where it went quiet, and they sounded pretty loud to me too. Like especially obviously their hardcore was behind the other goal, I think. So yeah, like I don't. Again, it was hard for me to tell like how it came across on TV, and obviously I could just hear the sort of noise of the away end, which was noisy. And again, if you want to listen to me talk, I
want to say something about this because this is the first match where Primera RFF, I felt a bit horrible. Okay. And that was because of the camera.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah, I obviously,
I hated the Primera RFF.
I think for me, this feels like the first bad experience of the camera that we've had. Yeah. I think the rest have been good so far. We've been treated fairly well, but this was a tough one.
No, but there's also, and that's the problem. There's nothing Linares can do about it, and there's nothing FBF TV can do about it because it's just not.
Well,
We don't play in big stadiums.
Well, when you guys put on the WhatsApp group, this camera is going to be a bit dodgy, and you said it was behind the dugouts, I was sort of trying to look for it, and that stand, essentially, it did look like, I don't know, it was a bit bigger, but it was almost like a standard Stalybridge Celtic or something like that.
Yeah.
Like just one. It did have a little sort of upper tier, really. It was a lovely ground. It was quite quaint. Obviously, it was full. Hey, if you read the Malaga Gaga newsletter, you can hear all about my love of the away end. And on Vamos a la Rosaleda, I think I said, I'm in my wet dream or something here. With all that. I can't remember the exact quote, but it was something like that.
How was your adventure with the Peña Benomil?
Yeah, great. It was first time with them, and it was just sort of on the bus. It was just really stress-free and smooth, really. It sort of turned up. They said, do like a register, and then you go up and you get your ticket, get on the bus. Yeah, just.
Are you a member now?
Pardon?
Are you a member now of the Peña Benomil?
Yeah, I was a member before. I was a member from the start of the season.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but yeah, it was
I
fine.
thought it was a nice moment to make some promotion.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I said on Vamos a la Rosaleda.
Don't worry.
For the Vamos episode, even I did give them a shout out and said like it was great. It was a great experience. It was easy, stress free. Obviously, the game helped. Got there with plenty of time before kickoff, so there was time for some pre-match beverages. Again, by about an hour and a half for kickoff, it was very difficult to get beverages because just everywhere was full. Everything was just pouring out, and I just couldn't be bothered to.
How many people of the Peña know you from the Kirikos? Are you the most famous member?
Nobody said anything, so I don't know. No one said anything to me. I saw Sergio. I saw our friend Sergio. He knew who I was.
No.
Yeah, good old Sergio. Okay. Let's talk about the football then, shall we, guys? So let's go to the starting 11. Obviously, the sort of headline, I guess, was Danny Lorenzo was back in, which we sort of thought might mean Sangali was out of the team. But it seemed to be David Larrubia was the one that was dropped. I don't know why I said it seemed to be. He was the one that was dropped. And I guess, I don't know if it's much of a story now. Juande kept his place at centre-back. Nick, what did you think of the replacement of Danny Lorenzo for David Larrubia? A bit harsh on David Larrubia, or perhaps a welcome break?
No, I think it was a bit harsh, to be fair, and a few of us had noted that he's a kind of player that you need to have on from the start to really make a big impact. It was nice to see Danny Lorenzo back because, again, the same thing that happened last week. We thought it was quite harsh that he was dropped, so maybe this is just a rotation thing from Payas there. But for me, when you take Larrubia out of there and you put Sangali, Gennaro, and Lorenzo all together, that is a very flat midfield. There's not a lot of attacking play from it, unfortunately. Maybe Lorenzo just a little bit, but I think we lacked an edge, really, without Larrubia.
I would like to see a team with Danny Lorenzo and Larrubia.
Yeah, which we've played quite a lot already. Yeah. Luke, do you think perhaps PSA went with that, as Nick called it, quite a flat three? Because I think we talked about last week that Linares, quite a tough team. They got a really good home record. Maybe we were going for a draw and maybe try nick it.
Yeah, I think Pellicer, I think we've touched on it before, maybe in the away games, he might on the odd occasion come across a bit too cautious. But like everything, there's a plan behind things. I think regarding the rotation, we mentioned on the live stream the other day, I think every game we're going to see these little touches. Nothing too drastic, nothing that's going to change too much, but the strength of the squad, what we've actually got this season, and the strength what's going to come back in the next couple of weeks. I mean, we can pick any three players to play centre midfield from a batch of 7, I'd say.
Yeah.
Any 2 centre halves from a batch of a good 4 centre halves. So, I think he is set on Juande now, but every now and again, I don't think it's going to be a matter of dropping a player when Lorenzo, Larrubia, etc. comes in and out. It's a good headache to have. It's something we haven't had for years, really, I think.
Yeah, I will say, just I'm a big fan of Juan Day, so I'm glad he started. I do like to see him play, but I was down by the players were warming up right in front of me, and I know it's a big lad. Because obviously I hadn't really seen these players up close properly, because in Castellón we're sort of a bit away from the pitch, and then obviously in La Rosaleda I'm up the top, so it was quite fun for me to be so close to the players.
How big's Roberto, Matt? Because me and Nick noticed from the side, Roberto and Juanpe, when he came on, looked like giants.
Yeah, Roberto, which you could sort of tell with Roberto, he's always got that sort of lanky demeanor, but yeah, he did sort of I don't know if you saw it on the TV, where we were about, I think he shot and it deflected for a corner, and we went to take the corner, and as we were waiting, he just did walk towards the away end with his like arms out, fist pumping, shouting like, vamos, and like when he had his arms out shouting, he did look pretty intimidating and big. So Chris, any sort of complaints with the starting 11 or happy?
I thought it was fine. I think it's too early to say in the season that, because we don't really saw them play other ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's still room enough to try things.
Yeah, I think so too. And obviously there's a couple of players we got coming back from injury, which we can perhaps talk about in the next part of the podcast. But yeah, like I don't know, I've got a sense that I don't know why that team that beat Atleti B and Baleares, that felt like the starting 11 for me. And then, like you said, Luke, these little changes, just, they are quite young players, and David Larrubia has played quite a lot in recent games. Maybe he did just need a little breather. And
it's good to give players rest.
Absolutely.
That's a good thing. Definitely in games like against Linares.
Well, it's
also a moment to try other players to see how it works, if it works.
Yeah. The thing I was thinking of was that season the start of the season under Jose Alberto Lopez, where we did stick with the kids for the games, and we did play Kevin and Roberto quite a lot at the start and just sort of burned them out really quickly. So, it's perhaps best they sort of rotated a little bit, even if it's just one or two changes a game. But I was pretty happy with the starting 11. I was not so happy with the start to the game. Linares going close twice. There was that sort of glancing header that bounced just wide of the post, and then they had a shot that was just dragged wide. Again, guys, you did the live stream, Nick. I don't know what it looked like on TV, but for me, it felt a bit like the Baleares game again. With the first 15 minutes, we looked a bit shell-shocked, and fortunately, we didn't concede a goal in those 15 minutes.
No, and I think we've alluded to it a couple of times now. I think in this league and the level that we're at, teams of this nature are going to hit you hardest in the first 15, 20 minutes. They're just going to go for you because they think if they can snatch one, then they can probably sit back and absorb whatever pressure you put towards us. So very much like Groundhog Day, I think when they had Herrero scrambling towards his back post, that was very much a hand-in-mouth moment. But I think we handled it well as well. I thought, especially Juan Day, where we saw him get quite flustered against Castellón a few weeks back, in this kind of like onslaught in this first opening 15, 20 minutes, he looked quite composed and he looked quite dominant as well. So it was good to see him do that. So, but a poor start to the game from Malaga, but I think it's part of the game plan. I genuinely think they're quite happy just to sit back and absorb for a bit.
Yeah, Luke, was that very much part of your discussion on the live stream too?
Yeah, definitely. I think it were, as Nick's just alluded to, a typically slow-paced start by Malaga. But we are, again, just as Nick says, we are noticing very quickly that these teams seem to go rock and roll for 30 minutes. And then Malaga kind of suss it out and know that they're going to have, I know fitness don't really count too much in professional levels, but Malaga know that they've got 90 minutes in them. These guys, it's their cup finals, it seems.
Yeah, which
we are like, how do you call them in English? Steam locomotions?
Yeah, maybe.
Locomotion, like with steam.
I think it's a popular word for them.
Fucking hell. Do you guys know
Yes, we do have steam locomotions, Mr. Marquez. Yes, they are a
Really?
wonderful invention from the Victorian era.
Yeah. I didn't know how you called them in English.
Okay,
Do you know Thomas the Train? Yes, he's English, right, Thomas? Thomas the Train.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, you know what Thomas the Train? You know what a Thomas the Train is? Well, they start very slow, but then
okay.
once
The
they're
Malaga
going,
train.
like do the
This is the one with the clip as well.
Chris is gone. Chris is rolling.
Chris has
Okay,
had too much sun after work today.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that does make sense. So a locomotion team is a team that builds up pace as the team as the game goes on, is from what I've
Yes,
understood,
thank you.
which I think is pretty good analysis of this team actually.
Thank you. Thank you all for
Locomotion
watching.
was a song by Kylie Minogue.
Well, yeah, Chris has just sung
The
that.
locomotion.
Yeah, but like again, you know, I was a bit worried at that point, but as you said, I think we came through it really well, and we, you know, I'm not saying we weren't doing much with the ball, but I think we sort of put our foot on the ball a bit. And again, you mentioned Juande not looking flustered. I thought Juande was good again, but I thought his companion at centre back, Nelson Monte, was fantastic all game, and I think he was really good at, especially at centre back, just sort of slowing things down at that time, and we kept the ball around sort of the back for a bit just to slow things down, and then slowly, a bit like Chris said, a bit like a locomotion, we slowly did build up speed. I thought, and I don't. Is that what it looked like on the sort of on the stream, guys? Because you know, I'll bring it up towards the end. Your ratings, Nick, and we can look at them, but it looked just.
You know what I think? We just sucked this match, and that's fine. We won, and that's the most important. I think every team that plays for a championship, plays to be the champion or is going to be the champion, has plays matches like these, where you suck, where nothing happens. It's these matches, if you win them, that's what make you champion at the end of the season. And these are the matches that make the beliefs higher and get you more confident.
Okay, looks like so. Chris Marquez has already confirmed us as champions. I'm already excited.
No, I didn't say that, but
joke.
It's winning these matches that makes champions.
Yeah, I'd say winning these matches is a sign of a good team. So I guess so Chris has just said we sucked, and you know, judging from your ratings, Nick, you sort of thought something similar, and I saw Luke agree with you. So again, I'm not saying I thought we were playing amazing football and we were expansive, but I'm just curious because obviously I was from the away end. I do not have the same sort of view as you. I'm caught up in the emotion of being around 2,500 other fans and getting carried away with the chanting and things like that. So what was wrong with the performance, and what sucked about it, to use Chris's word?
It was extremely flat. The football wasn't great. We hadn't really seen until really the end, which I'm sure will come to later, any kind of like passing play that looked pretty decent. The only thing that decent happened in the first half was that cross from Victor Garcia. And again, a player of his quality who's been a standout so far this season, he had a very poor game as well. I think it was just turgid. And again, I don't know if it was to do with the camera angle, because for the first half, we couldn't see who was playing on the right. On the second half, we couldn't see who was playing on the left. So you couldn't really get a full picture of it. But I don't think it was a
we weren't good. We weren't very good, but we also weren't very good.
Yeah,
it was just.
We got the goal and we did what we needed to do. So like Chris says, you know, you're going to have these kind of games when it's just snatch and grab and get what you can and come away with 3 points.
It ended a 0-0, and that I think a 0-0 would be a fair result, to be honest.
I disagree with that. I think I agree with exactly what you said. The word turgid is probably correct. And now, like when you just said to me, the only moment of quality in a Malaga sense was that cross. And when I was going back, I was like, actually, yeah, I can't remember like any moments where we all went, go on, ooh, or anything like that. And even that cross, we were sort of caught off guard, like, what's going on here? It's gone in. But
I think that was the problem. The game overall was that dull. Like we say, Linares maybe had 10 minutes where they had 2 efforts, and we were sat watching 35 minutes into the game and thinking, what has happened here?
We
But
went-
those 10 minutes
we
of
went
Linares,
Marquez. We were looking at around what Linares was
Yeah,
like.
we were doing your job.
That's quite nice. So
Lovely
those,
mountain.
those,
looks nice and there's a lot of evergreen around Linares, isn't there? I can't see anything on the other side, but
those 10
flats, a
men,
bit like Leighton Orient's granite. Them flats look nice. They're a season ticket.
Yeah,
there,
that was
aren't they?
good. The flats were good, actually. I
The
forgot
flats were
about
very good. The second half, Malaga's assistant in the pinstripes jacket.
Yes,
He
there
had
was a big
25
segment of the live
minutes of
stream.
our live stream.
Yeah, dedicated to Malaga's assistant manager and his drip.
But I
You
think,
know what?
I am always intrigued with apartments and high buildings where people are sitting on the terrace watching a game.
we said that. We said
That always intrigues me. I just wonder,
Just speaking of
is
drip,
that
when I
fun?
realised-
Is that nice?
speaking of drip, I realized I meant to send it to our WhatsApp group. Maybe I'll send it across and we can put it on on Twitter or something. But we did have like loads of security in front of the away end, and they were sort of dressed in like, you know, like those sort of cream tops like American cops wear, and they've got like sheriff badge.
Yeah.
And there was one guy who had like a mustache, like sort of Arnold Schwarzenegger sunglasses and slick back grey hair, and he did look like really cool. And I did take a photo of him, and I forgot to sort of send it out, but definitely track that down.
Again, we were looking at the Guardia
police,
Civil, so all sat on the manager's bench. There was like 2 managers' benches.
There was
and
a
the police
lot.
sat in the middle, not doing anything. I'm like, they're great seats. If you're on this shift, you're in for a treat, unless the football's as dull as it was. But I think, like Chris said, you know, you're going to get these games. It wasn't a classic, and I'm sure you'll come on to my ratings later, and maybe I'll be Mr. Controversial this season. But you know, for me, if you're getting a 5 for a mid game, that's all right.
I think one of the problems was, Matt, I don't know if you in the crowd obviously noticed it, but I dare say it were the 85th minute when we actually realized we saw Malaga put 5 or 10 passes together, which normally Malaga can be good at keeping the ball. We didn't really seem to do it this game.
Yeah, let's.
You know what irritates me? When we pass the ball 10 times and people start clapping or starting, hey, oh.
That's fun. That's a very British.
No, it's not a zoo. It's not animals doing a trick.
That's 14 beers and some Spanish sunshine. What does that to you?
No, keep some respect. It's third tier football with their ooh, hey.
That's just what you do.
Hey.
That's just a bit of fun.
No, it's not fun.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm trying to take us back to the 35th minute. I've been trying to for about 35 minutes. It's felt like we scored a goal. We talked about Victor. We didn't talk about the person that scored it, Roberto, with another big header. I think I said on the episode, I wasn't sure if he scored the header or if he scored a tap in at the far post. Nick, great header.
Oh, it's a brilliant header. The cross from Victor Garcia, excellent. That sort of like deep swinging cross. And for Roberto to meet it, you know, he's really, really making Alex Ashmore look good at the minute. Because he put him in his starting 11 and we all were like, no, he's crap. And now he's like looking like a real asset. And that's not an easy goal to score either. You know, getting on the end of that cross when it was so deep and so high, out jumping the centre back and then looping the header over the keeper. I know Dione was there to tap it in if necessary, but it's a great goal. You know what I mean? Like I say, and that was this passage of play was the only good thing about this game. In its entirety, and
let's not forget that for Alex Ashmore, Jack Harper is up here, and Roberto is down here.
That is a goal that Jack Harper would have been proud of.
Yeah,
I can guarantee
Alex
that.
Ashmore's up here somewhere. I suppose just going. Perhaps we'll bring up your ratings now, Nick. I guess my slight issue with them wasn't perhaps the general gist of sixes, because I guess it was sort of a 6-y performance, but I guess I'll let you perhaps discuss it at the end maybe. But Luke, I thought a 6 for Roberto was very harsh. I thought Roberto was superb in this game.
I mean, I don't know if, again, alluding back to the camera, me and Nick really struggled to see much of the play happening, but he scored the winning goal. He's definitely turned out to be a star of the season. He's definitely confident, puts a shift in. If he can keep this up, we've definitely got the real Roberto.
The place was going
What
absolutely.
is the real Roberto? Because the feeling I have is that what we're not seeing at the moment is the real Roberto. I don't know what happened, but he's Mr. 20.
I can tell you a centre forward we're not seeing the real something, as it seems, or a right winger, I guess.
All right,
Mr. Dione.
Okay. I was trying to give a lot of love to Roberto, but let's go on. Let's slag someone off instead.
No, but he scored a goal, and it was a great goal. But he wasn't superb. You cannot say he was superb.
But nobody was.
No, and it's fine. It's fine.
I know.
Goal.
No, he was really good, guys.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, Matt. Like me and Nick even said, when you're in that crowd, it's totally different. You see things.
But I didn't think it is. He did not give the ball away. He was holding the ball up. He was getting in the right place all the time. He was causing havoc with their centre back and their goalie at one point. I think he ran about 40 yards to almost just to get us like a throw in. I'm not saying that's the absolute. What a man of the match performance. He got us a throw in, but no, he was.
He wasn't superb, really.
Nobody was. He was just, again, and running around chasing the ball does not necessarily mean he's Cristiano Ronaldo or anything either. But I mean,
Ben Camassa chased the ball and ran behind the ball.
Ben Camassa. Remember when we used to talk about him a lot? That was the fun days. Now we've just got good midfielders. Actually, but what we need to maybe we can do a bit of digging. What's going on with Ben Camassa these days?
Well, I've added a bot in our Telegram group.
Okay.
For everyone who's not in our Telegram group, we have a community on Telegram. Join if you like. It's very fun.
Just quickly, we keep saying this, and I always say, let's put it in the description at the bottom, and I don't think we do. Shave it out again.
Yeah. So I added the bot, and I called him Ben Camassa because I thought it was funny. But the bot doesn't work.
No, he doesn't.
And it's so Ben Camassa.
Well, I was going to say a bit like Ben Camassa.
Yeah.
Roberto, anyway, I've said my bit about Roberto. I thought he was really, really good. Again, I might have been caught up in it all because literally every time he got the ball, everyone went mad.
He played very, very well, but it was a 6 performance.
I would have got
considering that we've seen 7s being handed out
very easily,
quite willy-nilly, in my opinion, so far this season. He scored a goal, he did a lot of running, but was he truly magic? 7 and above is magic for me.
7's a magic. No, 7. I think I see 7 as good,
decent.
Matt, let's be honest. Matt is a teacher. I mean, if anyone knows everything about grades, it should be a teacher because he grades.
But is he a generous teacher? If I was a teacher, I've maintained if I was a teacher, I'd be quite a harsh teacher.
I am quite a harsh marker, actually. I've been told off by my head of department before for being not told off.
So you save all your nice marking for Malaga games.
Yeah,
with those rose-tinted sunglasses on, those Victoria goggles.
And now Chris has bigged it up. I'm going to go in tomorrow and say, "Are you writing Malaga newsletters as good as this? This is a 9. This is what you need to be aspiring to." Have you called Kevin a tan-carved fringe monger? I don't think you have. Write more about Kevin. Write an essay about Kevin.
I also do believe that Matt doesn't write the articles and the newsletter himself. I think he lets the students write.
Coursework,
and then grades them and say,
coursework.
My own little writing. Anyway, I think we've covered most things, guys. I don't know if I was going to perhaps bring up the substitutions. I just wanted to give a bit of a mention actually to Manu Molina, because I think I put in the agenda, like, he came on, did you notice him again? But I read a lovely interview with him in Malaga this week, and he seems like a really nice man. He said, and he was really honest and said, look, I'm not fit enough at the moment. I didn't play much football last year at Zaragoza. I feel I'm getting there. He said nice things about Malaga. He seems like a proper home guy, and sort of he's from Huelva. He said, "Oh, I don't eat bocadillos. I eat crayfish because that's what's from there." But I grew on me in this interview, so I just wanted to give him a shout out. I don't know if he did much on the pitch. I can't say.
Can I say I liked everyone who played for Malaga last season. I thought they're all great people and great personalities in interviews.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't bring us anywhere, did it?
That's true. Fair enough. Well, I'm just saying.
When people interview me, I got interviewed quite a few times. Yesterday again for the award thing. I'm always a nice guy in interviews. But if you meet me in real life, it's different.
So I was just going to mention the subs. We took off Danny Lorenzo and Gennaro for La Rubia and Molina, which seemed quite an attacking substitution to me. We brought on Hernandez towards the end for Kevin, and I think we brought on someone else. Loren came on and Juanpe, didn't they? So I don't know, Luke, on the live stream, did any of the subs sort of make a claim for themselves there or do anything good?
I don't think so at all, to be honest. I thought Hernandez could have come on a bit earlier, to be fair, because I have been quite impressed with him. The only thing from the subs where I can touch on, and I think you're a fan of it yourself, Matt, with that beautiful Loren touch where the ball went over the sunshine, and it's his finest moment in a Malaga shirt.
It was literally those apartment buildings. I think the ball was higher than those apartment buildings, and it was so funny because I thought, like, I sort of was looking how high it was, and I saw Loren under it, and I thought, there's no way he can control this. And as soon as he did, I was like, I literally went, oh! And
I've heard, I'm not sure if it's true, that they are still looking for the ball in the parking lot of Linares, but they still didn't find it. That's what I've heard. I'm not sure if it's true.
Which one's that? I forgot this.
I mean, guys, Loren, isn't it, right?
No, I don't think he is, but I'm just saying that amazing touch he did to control it is probably one of the greatest touches I've seen on a football pitch in a long time.
I saw him get a shot on goal, or I don't know where he took the shot to, but it went to the parking lot, I believe.
No, it was touch. It was just a beautiful touch at the ball.
Yeah,
but he also had a shot on target. I didn't know where it was, but where it went, but it looked like the parking lot or something.
Do we think that there is any kind of player in there? Like, I don't know, a goal could spark him into life. I just don't know what there is.
No,
I think there is.
Yeah, chess player.
Maybe a winger, maybe better out there, or
I don't even think it's that. You got to remember as well that he's only 20 years old, so he's quite.
Monopoly.
And there's other players that are playing well that are only 20 years old as well. You know, Roberto.
Poker, maybe. Poker.
Yeah, he's only a little bit
more. Chess and Monopoly for sure. He would be great.
Yeah.
But the thing, but that's it. But the thing is, in Atletico Malagueño, he was very, very good. He had a lot of people coveting him. He had offers to go to, I think it was Real Madrid potentially at one point. So it's the same thing with Roberto. I mean, maybe he just needs, and with Kevin, maybe, and La Rubia, maybe just needs some time away from Malaga to hit some form and then come back again, which I think they tried to do, but it didn't work out at the end. So you've got to work with him because he is only one of three strikers that we've got. So I think
I say something about him? Because he's one of the best paid players of Malaga Club de Football.
Okay. Yeah, but if he's only coming on for, I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's played great for Malaga by any stretch of imagination. But if you're only being given 5-10 minute opportunities to have an impact in a game,
but that says a lot about you. And if you, because it's not that this is the first season that he plays for the first team. Last season he started matches as well, and he's young. But he played in Segunda full matches. And it's the same if you play him 90 minutes or you play him 10 minutes.
No, I don't agree with that. I think if you are joining a game with only 10 minutes to go, you should be having an impact. But
where do you earn to be in the lineup? You earned that during the week on training, right?
Yeah,
No,
you should.
absolutely,
You should let you
I
want to
agree,
play.
and that's what I mean. He's
Yeah.
waiting for his opportunity, maybe, because
If he
Roberto
was
didn't
good enough,
consider
he
it.
would have. If he was good enough, he would have started at least one match in preseason, even.
Yeah,
Potentially. I still think there's a player in there, though. I think, like you say, young lad.
Yeah, I think what you said was fair enough, Nick. I think there is.
You saw the touch that he pulled out. You know, let's bank on
I'm
that.
convinced.
Exactly.
I'm
He's done enough
convinced.
now to convince me.
Yeah, that again. Now I think about it, I should have mentioned that in the newsletter as well, but it's I'm not going back now. Just quickly,
Let's be honest. One touch.
oh, Chris, we're having a bit of fun.
Because no, he's horrible. There's no player in him.
Okay.
If there was a player, it would have come out already.
You said
Chris,
about Roberto, and now Roberto is the best thing since
Roberto is great. Don't touch my Roberto. But I said at the start of the season that I believe in Roberto, and I said as well that you and Alex were very harsh on Roberto when you shouldn't be.
We were, and now we've learned our lesson, which is why we are trying to encourage
So-
Lauren Zuniga to perform better. So if he's listening,
I am encouraging Laura now to prove me wrong.
There you go.
He will.
He did have a chance to impress some people. I just thought quickly I'd drop this in there quickly. Did you see who was in the stands at the game?
Matt Harrison.
I was there, and he did impress me. So tick box there. But there were some other people that were perhaps more interesting than me, sort of.
My cousin.
No, well, yeah, he's interesting too. Watford had scouts at the game, apparently. Which who knows who they were watching? But apparently they had a few.
How do you know this?
Because I read it in an article in Malaga. Oi.
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't know if they were the original source. I just read it there, so apologies if it's not the original source. But apparently they had scouts in Cordoba, and I think they had some in Madrid as well. So they were having a little nose. So, watch out for Kevin on loan at Udinese in a couple of years.
I was going to say they have scouts for the group, don't they? Because it's
Yeah,
for Udinese,
everything.
for Granada, and for Watford, isn't it? So
Yeah.
I suppose Sunday evening, and I don't know if words got out. Oh, Malaga, by the way, are doing quite well in the league, and they've got loads of kids. Well, why not? Look at them. I thought it was quite interesting. Who knows where I bet they had a nice view of the pitch wherever they were. Right, let's go to it, guys. Chumbo and Biznaga. I'll go to you first, Luke. Who's your Chumbo this week?
Yeah, I thought it was a very tough one for both categories, but my Chumbo, I'm going to actually give it to Sangali. It could have been many of the players, but I just can't remember him doing anything. But again, it could have been a couple of players, but I had to give it to someone, and I chose Sangali.
Okay, I had him sort of as a sort of bottom of my honourable mentions, but not, sort of a light honourable mention. So that's interesting. Nick, do you have anyone different?
Yeah, I think just for pure anonymity for this game, it was Joaquin again. I thought he did so well the week before, and then kind of has regressed a little bit. He wasn't bombing like Victor Garcia was. He had an all right game, but he wasn't anything special. And like I say, this is a harsh one to give because no one had a truly, truly, truly awful performance. But I just think he was not the most fascinating person to watch. And to be fair, I only saw him for 45 minutes because I couldn't see him in the first half.
I thought he was actually okay. I was going to say, I thought, again, I haven't written him down as an honourable mention. I don't have many written down, to be fair, but I thought he was pretty good, actually. Well, I don't know. I didn't notice him. Yeah, again, this was hard. I'll agree with what both of you said there. There is one sort of standout for me, though, but I'll go to you first, Chris.
I'm going with Kevin.
Okay. I think he was very up and down in this game. I will be honest.
Yeah. If the crosses have to come
could have
from
gone
Victor,
to anyone, couldn't it? Could have gone to anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if the crosses have to come from Victor, I didn't think Kevin was really good this match.
I will say there was the guys in front of me were getting very angry with Kevin quite a lot. They were sort of every time he got on the ball, they were like, go on. And he did fluff some crosses. I have actually written him down as he's not my Chumbo, but he is sort of on that list there. He did have one glorious run down the left wing in the first half, though, which was good fun. Again, he sort of probably should have did more with it. But yeah, I didn't think he was great. I'll be honest with you, with Kevin, I do still feel a little bit like Hernandez could be a bit harshly done by. I think that place is sort of up for grabs a little bit. I think Kevin had that, like we said, I was going to say he was our unanimous Biznaga last week, apart from Alex Ashmore's hate crime against him. But I think he deserved his place there. But it would not surprise me if Fernandez gets ahead of him in the next game, especially if we're rotating. I hope not, but that could happen. For me,
and let's not forget, Highcomb is also knocking on the door.
Well, I was going to bring him up in the next bit. That was going to be my next. So I almost said his name there, and I thought, maybe we'll slip him in the next bit. I thought Canaro was awful. I thought he gave the ball loads. I thought he was the standout jumbo for me. But like you said, it was quite a standout's a bit harsh. But and again, I don't know if it was the away end where, again, Kevin was getting quite a lot of stick, but Gennaro was getting slaughtered at one point. He really looked nervy, and I don't think he's been like that all the season. So hopefully he'll be back to his imperious best soon. Go on then, Luke. I thought this was easy, and you probably know who my Biznaga is, but was this easy?
My Biznaga is for that touch, Lauren Zuniga. No, it's not. It's Roberto, purely because he's the match winner and he put his usual brilliant shift in. And for me, it's an honourable mention to a very good-looking, again, Juande.
Good. Yeah. Nick?
I'd have to agree with everything that Luke said. Juande for the honourable mention, Roberto for the Biznaga. When I listened back to your Vamosa, and you said that, the amount of running that he did, I do agree with that. He did a lot of running, and again, it's that high press that we've been talking about, the pay press that we've now coined. He was a big part of doing that to Linares, so I think he had a good game, even though I only gave him a 6.
Yeah, okay. And Chris, anyone different?
Roberto.
Lovely stuff. Do you want to add anything there, or are you happy just to say the word Roberto?
Mr. 20.
There you go.
Roberto. I love Roberto now. I've never smelled Roberto.
He's Mr. 20 goals. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I am a fan indeed. It's quite interesting you guys picked up on Juande, because I just, like I said earlier, I thought Monte was I thought both were good actually, but I thought Monte just was really, really good. So he was going to be my big honourable mention. I also wrote down Herrero's name as just, again, there was a few sort of towards the end where you had to sort of gather in awkward bits. And I'm not saying like, he was amazing, but I've got a bit of confidence in him, perhaps more than in regards of like just claiming the ball. Perhaps not as good a shot stopper as Yanez from what I've seen so far, but I feel a bit safer with him so far.
And he looks great in a pink kit as well. He does look fantastic.
Very good.
And we forgot to give our honourable mention as well, Matt, just before you reveal your Biznaga, but assistant managers wearing suits.
Oh, great.
More, please. More, please. I liked it. He was more dressed up than Pellicer was.
It was so strange, Nick, wasn't it? Because we had the Malaga looking suited and booted 10 out of 10. And the Linares boys, they look like they'd just shut the bar for an hour, came to the ground, ran the local pub team.
Yeah, I was going to say they've got taxi shifts after this match, straight onto the beaded seats, and then Pellicer and the assistant manager are dressed up to the nines, ready to go out on the town.
Yeah,
so honourable mention for him as well.
And I sort of thought of this joke earlier, just before I say it does link to my Biznaga, and I've been trying to get it in, and I will leave it for here. I will say, God, Domo Arigato, Mr. Roberto.
What?
Domo Arigato, Mr. Roberto.
I don't have a clue, mate.
There's a Styx song called Mr. Roboto, and it says Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto. So
I don't know. I have been in with the Geary bus 2 weeks ago.
Well, ask them to play Styx, Mr. Roberto, or Mr. Osiri, even.
It could be a place where they play that song. I don't know. It's
I
all.
don't think so.
To be fair, Chris, I only know it from the Austin Powers film Goldmember, where he goes, Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Oh, yeah, they do.
I don't know.
That can be people's homework if they don't know. Give Sticks, Mr. Roboto.
He asked for shiitake mushrooms.
Yeah.
You want what?
Speaking of songs, shall we go on and talk about Fernando?
I'll just let the tumbleweed go.
I know a song called Alejandro, but not Fernando.
Present. So yes, we have won 4 games in a row, and we return to La Rosaleda this Sunday evening. We should just perhaps mention, because we didn't mention it in the last section, the team have had a day off on Monday after they asked Pellicer for a rest day, and Pellicer gave them it, declaring, "Soy un blando," I'm a softie, which I don't think he is this year. He seems a bit more... I don't know, maybe it's just the stubbly sort of beard thing he's got on. He's a bit grittier this year, I feel. And when we win, he's like, let's not get carried away. And it's a nice balance, I think he's got at the moment.
No,
but
I really enjoyed his article this week where he said that last year people basically demanded they should be in the starting 11 because they've got big contracts and that they of who they were. Whereas this year, it's all been done on merit, which is a nice change of pace. And I'm sure is making us all happy to see he's got control of this group a little bit.
Yeah. He's I think he's like, when he speaks in press conferences, I think he's got a nice demeanor about him. He's got a nice balance. I think, I don't know, I get a feeling the players do really like him. Obviously, lots of them have played with him, played for him when he was the youth manager. So yes, you can be a softie this week, Pellicer. Just keep cracking the whip for the rest of the week. We should say as well, we've mentioned one of them already, I should say, but one of the things that was sort of announced around, I think it was on match day, that Hightam and Ramon did travel to Linares. I don't think they weren't on the bench. But it sounds like they're back in training this week, Chris, and they're doing stuff and could be back soon.
Yes, I didn't ask.
What do you
let me
check the vibe?
But they are in training, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because
I read earlier that they trained today. They've done a bit of ball work, alternating with a bit of physical work. You're due to train again tomorrow. I wouldn't expect to see him at the weekend.
No, I don't think. But
it's good to hear that they're kicking a ball again.
Yeah, because I think every week we've mentioned these two players and gone.
Yeah, waiting.
Because the inside information we had confirmed that for next week, Hightam should be available, but I don't think it will happen.
No, because I think
you're in the same group chat, so.
Because I think we've touched upon it already, but Kevin's biggest fan here, but that spot I think is open for someone to take if Kevin can't do another performance like he did 2 weeks ago against Granada's B team. So
the problem with Kevin that he isn't consistent.
I agree, but that's what makes him fun.
Yes and no.
Yeah, well, not fun if you win. Yeah, I agree. Yes, but I do think I'd still keep Kevin in the starting 11 for now, but I think he's too good on his day. And I think he can be a bit inconsistent, and that would be okay, but it needs to be more towards the fantastic Kevin and not the sort of like in the Linares game. Like I said, that run he did down the wing was amazing.
But that's one run.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think in the game, a bit like what game was it when it was the Atleti B game where I think he did get better as the game went on, but I'm not saying he got better to this sense where he was really good.
But on the other side, in his defense, the rest was flat as well. So
I will say, I don't know if you noticed, they did switch him to the right wing for a bit, which I thought was quite interesting. But I thought, I'll see how he does out on the right wing. But just the 5-10 minutes he was there, the ball just didn't go to him for, that's not. I think
inconsistency, Matt, is a perfect word for him. I mean, if you look at his performance against Granada Bay, they were brilliant for a lot of the game. This game, non-existent, but the inconsistency of his socks. We noticed he pulled his socks up again.
All right. Yeah, but he did that.
We thought he was a sock down player.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had socks up for Granada game as well, but
Yeah.
he said Chris has just got it right there. I think he was flat because everyone else is flat. He will vibe off good energy and a good performance. He's very much a vibe player for me. The one person for me that I think actually, if we're going to put Hernandez in, and we should take out is Dione, and not because he's played badly, but you could see in this game, and maybe one of the reasons why Kevin got switched to right, he just kept dropping so deep. At one point, he was in midfield, and I was looking around going, "Why is Davila Rubio up top now?
He's not a winger.
No.
He's not a winger. He doesn't do what he's doing.
That's it. Let's for this 1 week. We know Roberto's scoring goals, so we're not too bothered about having two strikers.
But I think Roberto will also score his goals from the wing. It doesn't matter. He will score anyways.
Yeah, such a big Roberto convert now. Not sure
No,
I like this.
Roberto.
I respected your Roberto's opinions. I thought there is a man who is harsh and a critic. I don't know
listen,
anymore.
Roberto has more pace than Dione has.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It makes more sense to play Roberto from the wing and Dione from the center.
I'd happily see him both.
Dione can score goals as well. If the cross comes from the other wing, Roberto will come inside anyways.
I think in this that Hernandez has been harder done with, because I quite liked him against Castellon as well, and he was one of the architects of the goal against Castellon too. And I'm not saying this because he was in my start 11 for the season. I need the same plaudits that Alex gets, but we're talking here about who we should have on the wing. Let's put a bloody winger on the wing. Let's go crazy.
I understand that you want to play Roberto and Dione. I can understand you want to play both.
Well, it guarantees you goals, doesn't it? If you play them, both of them, and they have been both.
But then switch them. Try it.
Hey, tell you what's a fun name to say: Jonathan Biabani. Because I think
the army.
Yeah, and rhymes with Dione's pork butter sarnie as well. It was quite a nice one to rhyme. I struggled saying it at the start, but I sort of breathed this time and got it out. As you guys will know, I think it was on Monday, I sort of looked at San Fernando's team, and I'm usually players like Jonathan Biabani, I'd have a bit of ideas in our league, but I did just send a message straight away. It's like, oh my God, Jonathan Biabani plays for San Fernando, which I'll come to you, Luke, because obviously I associate him with one game, and it was him and Philip Coutinho were the sort of bright lights for Inter Milan at the time, but he did feature in a famous Tottenham Hotspur game.
He did in the Champions League tie, Inter Milan versus Tottenham. So Biabiani's had a very strange career, I'd say. He's signed for Inter Milan 3 times. He's been on loan at Parma 1,000 times.
Passing back and forth.
Yeah, but for anybody who's ever played Championship Manager, Football Manager, this guy was an absolute rapid wonder kid. He's now 35 years old. Apparently, he's the captain of San Fernando. So I don't know what he's going to offer anymore. However, I did see at the weekend, he drove at a fullback and he got a great assist. So there's still a very good player in there by looks.
Yeah, I think he was once sort of, again, I don't know if it was hearsay or whatever, but I definitely remember there was like a tag of him being the fastest footballer in the world at one point. And that's sort of the tag that came with him. I don't know what, how they measured that, or if it was just sort of a saying they said. But he also scored.
What the dangerous thing is with these players who played at top levels and for top clubs.
Exactly that's the danger. They've played for top level.
No, that they play smart football.
Yeah, you're right. They do.
Yeah.
They know when to run and when not to run. They know when to pass, and they're just much smarter they're outsmarting everyone else in the team and in the league.
Yeah, the thing that usually happens, though, and I totally agree with that, Chris, is those players are usually quite old and lost a bit of pace, whereas this guy's still got some pace.
If you were the fastest player, you had the most pace in the world, then I think you can lose about 30%, and you're still quicker than Dione.
Just to touch on that, Matt, when you're saying about the old players, after doing a bit of research, San Fernando are a very old team for a professional level. They've got several players hitting 30 and 30 plus. So you'd say that they're experienced players. They are experienced players, but a lot of these players also are experienced at certain levels, and it's not the greatest levels, it doesn't seem.
But now it comes, because they are smarter players, they know when to run and they know when to stay relaxed, or they know to choose their moments. They know.
But sometimes if you've got too many of them, they can't run.
Yeah.
And a young team like Malaga, I'd like to think, can overpower that way.
Yeah, but they're also smarter in passing the ball around, because they let the ball do the work more than the captain who runs with the ball.
But I think what we're saying is that they've got Biabani, but again, it seems to be a running theme with a lot of these teams we play. If you look at the career history of some of these players, which, let's be honest with you, none of us have really seen half of the players in this league before, half of these random names that jump out like Biabani. They all seem to be players that have played Cadiz B, Celta Vigo B.
A lot of Bs.
And then Atleti C. And then, so these are almost like the ones that have escaped the B team, but I've only got to this level. A couple of them have played for I weirdly with this team, I know it was quite a lot. I played over in Melilla quite a lot. And I should shout as well for Juanmi Callejon, who's the brother of Jose Callejon, who Real Madrid fame and Napoli fame, and we played against him for Granada and was the probably the the top boy in the league.
I don't know, and I only know the Callejon from San Fernando.
Is that because he used to play for Marbella?
Yeah, that one. I know him.
And then
but he also has a brother, you say, and he plays football as well.
He did some bits, his brother. And the manager is Pablo Alfaro, who I remember as a centre back at Seville before.
Great.
Juanmi Callejon was also a pioneer too, because he played for Etifak before it was cool.
Oh, did he? I'd missed that.
Before Jesse Lingard turned up.
He did.
And trying to win a contract. But I think it wouldn't be a stretch to say that this sounds very much like the Sam Allardyce's Bolton of Primera.
Yeah, I'd say that. That's is actually a perfect way of saying it.
Just quickly before we move on to, as me and my brother sometimes have called it, just men say footballers' names and go, "Oh, do you remember this guy?" I did find a Blackpool link, Nick. It was very tedious, but
I like this.
I sort of looked through. There is no notable players for San Fernando Club de Football, but their previous club from 10 years ago, which have replaced, there is one Miguel Llera, who played for Blackpool, and I think he was at Charlton, the sort of centre back who always wore like a skull cap.
Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, he's at Sheffield Wednesday as well. That's where he signed.
Nick, I've just clicked on his Wikipedia page. He signed for Blackpool and never played a game. Apologies.
Yeah. He was signed as part of, if I remember rightly, part of the Jose Riga Revolution, and which was very cool because he stayed for about 5 games. We ended up with Lee Clark and then got relegated very quickly.
Is he the Okazaki for Blackpool? From Blackpool?
Pardon?
Is he the Okazaki from Blackpool?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah,
maybe.
I should say as well, at one point, and I not checked this since, but his soccer school, the Miguel Llera soccer school, followed me on Instagram. No idea why. They might still do. I've literally forgotten about this player until about 2 hours before we recorded. But
still looking to sign you.
Yeah. That was about the most tenuous sort of link I could find to anything.
That's him asking for some attention. We were recording today, and he thought, well, if I follow him now.
Oh no, he followed me about 10 years ago.
Okay.
It was not that random where he followed me hours before I was doing a podcast about a club he used to play for. And I think he played there on loan. So the link is getting even more tenuous the more we go on.
Yeah. One of the good links is Angel Martinez, who played for Sabadell and got promoted to Segunda with Sabadell. That's the only other Primera FEF link I can find to Blackpool.
Right, of course, yeah. Because I forget, like you had that weird sort of few Spanish players at one point. Yeah, it was such a generic Spanish name. I was like,
Yeah,
I do
the
remember.
football club as well, not the
It's
bank.
like Russia. Was it like Russians and the Brazilians?
Yeah, they're different.
Yeah, at one point we had Angel Martinez. We had somebody Gomez was in there as well. Gerardo Bruno, if you remember him.
Well, I do think Swansea are surely the club they've had.
Yeah, Swansea had a stage.
Yeah.
Swansea.
Well, we both had Orlandi as well, didn't we?
Andrea Orlandi. Jordi Gomez, centre of midfield. Jordi Gomez, were it?
Horny Gomez.
Jordi Gomez, just because obviously we're going away from the Malaga San Fernando thing there. I was at a cash machine in Deansgate once, and I turned around and Jordi Gomez was there. I went, "Oh my God, you're Jordi Gomez!" And I sort of, because he scored the winner against Cardiff, and I was like, "Photo!" And his girlfriend was with him, and she loved it. She loved
Here's
it.
my cash, thank you.
Even in the photo I've got of him, he looks sort of pale and terrified. So, but legend.
You know what the strange thing is? Matt, wherever he goes, he meets footballers. He meets everyone. When I'm walking down the street, it's only old people saying "Buenos dias, buenos dias."
I get that too.
I never see anyone. I never meet people interesting, former football players or. You have this all the time, Matt Harrison.
Used to, not anymore.
Last week you were walking with Nelson Monte's family.
Oh yeah, well, exactly. I met a superstar footballer's brother this weekend. I probably should have mentioned that just in case. I won't say who the player was, but an elite footballer's brother was in the bar with me. I didn't speak to him because he didn't seem like a very nice person from what I gathered. But that's why we won't say anymore. Let's talk about Malaga, guys, before we go off on any other tangents and sort of wrap things up. Any changes you'd like to see to the starting 11? Nick Bell, Larrubia back?
Yeah, bring back David Larrubia. He gives us an edge. He gives us that connection between the forward line and the midfield. So, dare I say, maybe lose Sangali, Daniel Lorenzo, David Larrubia, and Gennaro in there, and happy days.
That's pretty much the exact change.
And Hernandez as well, actually. Hernandez. I want Hernandez to start a game. And bugger it, Loren. Let's go mad.
Slow down.
I'm only joking.
Did you see that touch he did against Linares where it was in the air?
Looked it out the air. It was godly. It was Maradona in the pre-game for Napoli-esque.
Yeah.
It was the sun. Maybe if the sun was always blocking his views, maybe he would always be good and be Mr. 20.
Any other changes for you, Luke? Or?
Nah, I totally agree with what you two have just said. Get Dani Larrubia back in, probably pull Sangale. One thing what I would like to see, if Malaga, well, we obviously want Malaga to go a couple of goals ahead, but if we could see another youth product maybe come off the bench, maybe...
No, we have enough. No. Why?
Because this is the time to see these young players, give them chances.
No, it's not.
It is.
We're third in the league.
We've got to be goals ahead.
No, it's fun to give players, youth players, some playtime when you're 10th in the table, not when you're third. Then you need to win as much, get as much as you.
Good enough they can play. You told us Izan is one of the best players Malaga's ever had.
Mate, I wish we had Tom Chambers in the podcast.
Let's be honest.
Is he ever going to play for Malaga?
No, but he understands football.
No, not my brother.
It's a pretty youthful team. Third in the league, though, you could argue. You know, it's mixed in with some experience.
It is, yeah, massively.
Can I say something? What I would change?
Go for it. I was coming to you next. You take over.
Because there's one player that brings me heart attacks and which gives me gray hairs.
Okay.
And I'm not saying we have to replace him because I don't know what other player we have in his position. But Herrero is making me so nervous every week.
He's the complete opposite for me.
Have you not seen him?
I don't feel confident with him.
I literally just he just exudes confident and catches everything. He's not made a mistake.
I don't know. I can't help it.
Feel the complete opposite with him. I have a lot more faith in him plucking the ball out the air than I would have any Malaga goalie over the last couple of seasons. Maybe I don't know about his shot stopping yet. I don't think he's really had to show that so much yet.
What are you trying to say, Chris? We need a young goalkeeper,
yeah,
youthful goalkeeper.
Well, if that's the other option, if he brings me, if he makes me feel relaxed during a Malaga match, I don't know. He has moments where I think, ooh.
I think apart from those 2 parries where we conceded a goal from it, that's been about it from him, to be fair, in terms of mistakes.
Like one of those, I seem to recall, was actually quite a good save and was a bit unlucky, and it should have hit it out.
Yeah.
Can't remember which one, but no, I really like it.
That's the feeling I have. I can understand it's different.
And obviously, he was right in front of me on Sunday. He's really talkative and really seems like
that's good.
Yeah,
I think
and you know the power that this podcast holds, Chris. When you talk about players in a certain way, they then lose all the confidence and go and play crap. So you are meddling with powers you can't control. So please do not put that on us, because we need him to perform.
I'm just saying how I feel, and okay. We brought this up earlier, and most of you were agreeing at that moment. You changed your mind. That's fine. I'm still a bit meh. It's not a Yanez for me, because
no one will ever be.
That doesn't seem we had any great goalkeepers over the past seasons, and Herrero is much better in catching balls than Yanez is. For me, Yanez was better than Herrero.
It's
fine. I agree with that.
Yanez had more to do.
Yeah. I think Yanez was amazing. But I'm just saying, the one trait with Herrero is he seems a safe pair of hands in regards of, especially crosses. I think that, like you said, he hasn't had much shot stopping to do, but he's had to pluck a few crosses out of the air over the last.
The crosses are fine. It's the shots that worry me a bit.
Okay, well, like I said, watch this space. I'll be honest with you, Chris. Like I'm just saying, that's how I think it is at the moment. I need to see more of him, obviously, but like you said, hope he is good at shot stopping, because there is not really a replacement for him. So, right, guys, I think that's about time we wrap things up. So, hopefully, 3 more points for Malaga this weekend. I will say thank you to you, Luke Chambers.
You're welcome, mate. Pleasure as always. It feels good to be a Malaga fan that can actually celebrate these wins. We're on a high. Let's keep it going. See you all Sunday. Vamos, Malaga.
Lovely stuff. And thank you, Nick Bell.
I was ready for the quiz. Where's the
I did have one ready, but we talked about something for too long, so I've got.
Well, I did homework and everything.
Nick, I've got a very quick stat more than the quiz. So obviously we've won all his games in September. The last time we did that was in October 2014. Which manager were that under? The 2014 season.
I'm going to say Javi Gracia.
I was going to say Javi Garcia, isn't it?
Perfect. And the only time we've ever
we also have David Picon on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Just while we're talking about stats, I need to throw out we've now won in all 3 shirts this season already.
Very true. Very true. Yeah. I thought I got away with it.
But thank you, Miguel.
No, thank you very much, Matt. Obviously, great to do these podcasts on the back of wins, and hopefully many more to come. And just looking at that table, I think we can have a fun weekend to end on. And we will be doing a live stream again. I know I'm certainly involved, Luke, Chris, Alex, potentially. So hope you can join us at the weekend as well.
Perfect. And I will say, just on that link, before I say goodbye to you, and it does link to you a little bit, Chris, is I will be doing a Vamos episode this weekend, because my pal Gibbo is coming to his first Malaga game. And I know Chris enjoyed my friend Emil's accent, and Gibbo has very much the same accent, a very broad Lancashire accent. So you'll enjoy that, Chris, again, I'm sure. So I will say thank you, Chris, and I guess I will see you Sunday.
No, I won't be there. I'll be visiting my sister in Gavia. But I do have something on a personal note, because I said I was going to do this.
Nick, did you think you were able to
I thought he said something else.
I
but
did.
I'm not going to say it out loud.
Ignore us.
Go on, Chris.
Okay. I was contacted by an old friend. When I was 18 years, I got my first season ticket at Feyenoord. Didn't know anyone. Went alone to my first match. Soon there were a lot of people. I met a lot of people, and one in particularly, I became good friends with. Looked out after me every home match. I was still a young kid. Feyenoord is a bit a strange club where a lot can happen in just a few seconds. And we became good friends. Due to work, I didn't renew my season ticket after 9 seasons or 10 seasons. And we lost track of each other. We had some great memories together. We became good friends. And from one day to another, I stopped going to Feyenoord. We had each other on social media. This week he contacted me that he's coming over to Malaga. He had a very, very difficult time in his personal life. And I wanted to say I'm sorry for letting you down. Because there are some people you meet in life which will always have you have a special connection with, and you know that if you need them, they will be there. And I let him down. I stopped the contact. I don't know why. But when I've heard last week, when he said, I'm listening to the podcast to stay in touch or to know what's happening in your life, that really, I don't know, that's one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. So Danny, this one is for you. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you for everything that we've been through, that you've done for me. You're a good friend of mine, and most important, I'm proud of you, and I'm happy to hear everything is good now. So thank you for that, and I'll see you soon.
There you go. A lovely shout out to Danny there. So big up, Danny, if you are listening. And again, big up to all of our other listeners too for coming on the journey with us as always. So thank you everyone for listening to this week's GearyCast. I've been Matt Harrison. You'll be listening to the GearyCast on Sport Direct Radio. Adios, vamos Malaga.